Hey guys, not a cooking video yet. I do plan on cooking though. Today I'm starting on a fast, so I kind of want to document this journey, and I'm going on a 3-day fast. So it's not my first rodeo. I've done a 3-day fast before, and I just want to go through the fast, and I am supposed to drink at least 1 gallon of water in these 3 days. And that's the only thing I'm allowed to drink. Actually, let's take it back. I am also allowed to drink black tea, black coffee without sugar or milk. And I want to do something too. I want to write down exactly how this fast is progressing. So it's not about weight loss so much as about getting to reboot my system. Rumi says, there's a hidden sweetness in the stomach's emptiness. If the brain and the belly are burning clean with fasting, every moment a new song comes out of the fire. That's a lot of bull crap, but I can say that fasting cleanses the system, so cheers to that. Just because I'm fasting doesn't mean I'm not cooking or doing my daily chores. And I want to show you that while you're fasting for 3 days or 72 hours, you can still get on with your daily life as much as possible. And I am cooking from Julia Child's The Way to Cook. And this is a seriously complex book. Julia Child was all about French cooking, complex techniques, technicality, perfection, measuring everything out. And food for her was a production because she was living in France after the Second World War, and she was a true settler. I mean, once she started living in France, she adopted French cuisine, was so much into it that when she came back to America, she wanted to elevate everyday American cooking to the French style. And it was complex for most people. I got into Julia Child the way of Julie Powell, who wrote this year-long blog about cooking her recipes, and somewhat inspired by the fact that I had been to the Smithsonian Museum of American History, where her kitchen has been preserved in its entirety. The exhibit is a bit dark. It feels like Julia Child has been cooking in the Twilight Zone. But what impressed me the most was the amount of cooking utensils she had. I mean, look at the wall over here that her husband made for her. I mean, pots and pans of all shapes that would give anybody a inferiority complex as how bad your pantry is compared to hers. And she had a bunch of favorite pans that she used to use all the time. This is just a glimpse of what she went through in her entire lifetime of cooking. I have a favorite pan too, and though it is nothing like hers, it does the job. And since Julia Child was all about butter, I'm going to start with the simple thing because you need butter to make anything of Julia Child's. So we'll start with clarified butter that she was very fond of. And this clarified butter is not ghee though. Ghee is clarified butter, but what Julia Child thought of clarified butter is completely different from what Indians think of clarified butter. So let's start with it. Get a sterilized 12-ounce glass jar that you would need to store the clarified butter, and the process is pretty simple here. Let me read from her book. There is no substitute for the taste of butter in good cooking, and plain butter will burn and speckle rapidly because of the milky residue it contains. But when you clarify the butter, you rid it of its residue. The simple system is to melt the butter and pour the clear yellow liquid out of the residue. What I'm doing here is adding some herbs to season the butter, because all you have to do is bring the butter to a boil, bring it down to a more softer simmer till all the sediment settles down and the speckles of grains or milky residue that you have on the top kind of filters out of the system. All that is left to do now is line a tea strainer with cheesecloth and strain the clarified butter through it into the jar. And once you pass the liquid through, the herbs and the sediments get left behind on the cheesecloth, and once you let it dry and cover it up, you have a clarified butter that can be used for any Julia Child recipe. or any recipe whatsoever. That's all for today. Let's get back to it tomorrow.